to Soundwave Radio here on andrewhogue.com 2014. This band is certainly no strangers to Australian audiences and, of course, festivals as well. We do have the mighty I Killed the Prom Queen with us right now. We have Jonas and Kevin from the band. Brand new record has just come out as well, so perfect timing to take new tunes to the festival crowd and the masses that is at Soundwave. G'day, fellas. Welcome to Soundwave Radio on andrewhogue.com.
Cheers, mate. How are you?
No worries. So must be good to be playing new music finally. It's been a long time coming. There's been changes over the last couple of years, reforming, splitting up, coming back, new album. You know, where do we start? I guess we'll start with the new record, Beloved. Fill us in on your thoughts on the record now. It's fresh, it's new, it's just come out, and it's perfect timing for Soundwave audiences to absorb it.
It is. It actually worked out very perfectly with the timing of the release of the record and coinciding with us being on Soundwave. Fantastic way for us to launch the record, you know, in front of these awesome crowds, playing with many of our favourite bands and friends as well. The record, I think, is pretty good. It's doing really well. Just came out just over a week ago. The response has been amazing, overwhelming. Lots of great comments online, lots of really good response at the Brisbane Soundwave last night, and definitely very looking forward to Sydney tonight.
And let's talk a bit about your buddy Ziada's murder, misbehaving. Have you guys been keeping things in check?
Yeah, they are the naughty boys, aren't they?
We missed what they actually did. We got there as they were finishing.
Well, it's all exaggerated online to a point.
Seemed to have a lot of adrenaline, I guess, for the next hour or so.
Yeah.
So I personally missed out the event, but
yeah, I don't know.
There was a lot of talk through the day of, you know, it escalated.
I feel like maybe on things like this there should be a bit more communication between the festival organisers and the bands as to what is kosher to do on stage and to say on stage and what isn't, because, you know, some of these bands get up there and they do what they would do at a normal club show or just a small gig, and maybe that's, you know, that's unsafe or whatever. It's going to cause problems, and it's just unfortunate that maybe that's a bit of a lack of communication. I'm sure the artist murder weren't out to piss anyone off or hurt anyone or anything like that.
I murder people.
Oh, yeah.
I spoke to the lads earlier on, and they mentioned that you know, CJ just got a little bit overexcited. But you're right. I mean, at a festival appearance, you do have a bigger audience at your disposal, and maybe even at your ruling to a point about the mic is power, and you know, anything you could say could pretty much urge the crowd to do what they, you know, ask to a point, which it can be pretty dangerous considering that kind of power in the hands of certain people. Nothing against CJ. I know he just wants to rock.
Yeah, exactly.
But
it's a fine line between what, you know, what you can do to have fun with the crowd and what, you know, what could potentially be dangerous, I guess.
I know, but when you mention about possible sort of, you know, rules or etiquette, I mean, others will argue that, you know, well, then there shouldn't be any rules in rock and roll, but at the cost of safety and somebody, I mean, it's getting harder today for fans to really let loose due to the amount of injuries that
I read about a guy from a band being sued for like $1.2 million the other day because he crowd surfed and hurt someone in the audience.
That's right.
Yeah, and I mean, I think you could get away with this sort of stuff 20, 25 years ago, and there's some bands with some history to do with that. But today,
when OC Health and Safety didn't really.
Absolutely, that didn't exist back then. So, you know, but anyway, moving on to the new record, and of course, a couple of new members as well. I mean, and I know that going through the changes over the years with the band, and how's things for you to be back with the band, and of course with Bleeding Through for a while, and I mean, I can't keep up. He's always in a band.
I was a bit of a pass around for a while there.
Yeah.
It's been great, you know, and some of the lineup changes have been, you know, there've been a couple of big ones recently, but still to us it's been a bit of a gradual process. So I guess to us in the band it doesn't feel like too many big changes, especially since the lineup we have now with Ben on bass, Shane on drums, Jamie on vocals, and myself and Kevin. We've been solid since we wrote the album. So even though that's all happened within the last, you know, 6 to 12 months, it feels like really comfortable to us. You know, the record's been written by this lineup. This is the band as we are now. You know, when you listen to Beloved, you're hearing the five of us that are currently in the band, and we feel like that kind of speaks for itself.
Was there a hard thing to not, I guess, go back too much to the past? Because, I mean, the band really had such a established following, pretty much neck and neck with Parkway Drive, until obviously, you know, certain things happened within the group to, you know, cause some of the disbandment, I guess, and members leaving. You know, to sort of, was it difficult to not trying to tap into the past to rekindle that sort of flame, rather than just wanting to look ahead and just go, right, this is what Prom Queen's doing in 2014. The past is the past, and musically, let's just play what feels right with the people you have in the band now?
A little of both. We wanted to make sure it still sounded, you know, we were doing that sort of dark Swedish metal type thing with the guitars on the last albums. So we didn't want to stray from that, but obviously, you know, a lot of things have progressed. All the genres have split up into little million subgenres now, so adding in more fresh influence and stuff to what you can kind of identify with our sound, that was pretty important.
And you realise when you add in other stuff, it's going to be more subgenres, and everything's going to be
Exactly,
completely.
yeah.
It's just getting ridiculous.
So now I don't know what you'd call it now. It's not as direct, you know, that sort of Soilwork, Dark Tranquility kind of vibe with Hatebreed breakdowns, which is what we went for a long time. There's definitely a lot more of a, I don't even know, almost a rock influence to some of the songs and just the style of guitar playing that we're doing.
So it's all about the groove.
Yeah, you know, I guess we talked at one point about former members and how the band was going to be able to move forward. But I feel like everything in this band, in the history of I Killed the Prom Queen, has happened for a reason. And now we're at a point where we wanted to move forward as a band, but we wanted to move forward with a lineup that wouldn't be a risky one to us. You know, we wanted the 5 members of the band to be in it for the long haul and completely dedicated to the band and to this record. And for whatever reason, really, really old members, and even JJ and Sean recently, they just couldn't commit to the band on the level that the rest of us wanted to, which is completely fair enough and understandable. And so that's why we seeked out new members who are 2 really old, long-time friends of the band anyway. So we knew we had that friendship and that chemistry there, and a bit of a musicianship chemistry as well. And I feel like that's one of the things that's worked really well in shaping the record that is Beloved.
We'll enjoy, of course, the rest of the Soundwaves. You've got Sydney, and now you've got coming up Melbourne, Adelaide and Perth. We can get you guys to sort of argue amongst yourselves one of your favourite tracks from the latest record, Beloved. And will there be an Australian tour later in the year sort of to follow after these appearances?
Yes, Aussie tour is definitely imminent. Right now we're talking to a couple of bands, a couple of international bands actually, about coming out and doing a bit of a package with us. We go overseas to the US and Europe in the next couple of months, so we're looking at touring Oz, doing a full headliner basically as soon as we get home from those. What song do you want, Kev?
Oh, I don't know. It changes every day. Obviously, the chorus for Calvert Street with Speed from Soilwork doing it. That was just like a pretty outer worldly experience. Sitting back in the chair and he's throwing down vocals. I'm like, I feel like I'm listening to Natural Born Chaos or something.
Yeah, best record. Was amazing.
Just him, like, especially because it has that kind of vibe of a song anyway.
We basically ripped off Soilwork. Sorry, Speed.
So, like, you know, some days that bit's just, I'm like, that's pretty incredible. Other days, you know, 10 seconds of another song might
spark your interest.
Spike that.
I think we'll go with the Speed track.
So, yeah.
Do it.
All right, no worries. Let's check out some I Killed the Prom Queen. The latest record, Beloved, is now available, and we're going to hear a track now from, of course, from I Killed the Prom Queen on Soundwave Radio on andrewhogue.com. Enjoy the rest of your festival experience, fellas.
Cheers,
Thank
mate.
you.